Hey you, welcome back to Secrets with Maeve, the space for the conversations we usually keep to ourselves. I'm Maeve. Today, we're talking about something I know so many of us struggle with in silence. Stop doing this. 5 mistakes men make that repel. Women, fix this. Let's get into it. If she feels nothing for you right now, good. Because desire is never born from chasing. It's born from contrast. I'm going to tell you something most men never hear. Attraction isn't about convincing her. It's not about proving you're worthy. It's not about flooding her with attention, kindness, or availability. In fact, the harder you try to make her interested, the more invisible you become. You don't create desire by adding pressure. You create desire by removing certainty. When a woman says she's not interested, what she usually means is this. She doesn't feel emotional tension. She doesn't feel curiosity. She doesn't feel the possibility of losing something valuable. And desire cannot survive in emotional flatness. Men are taught that persistence wins. That if you show consistency, loyalty, and effort, she'll eventually see your value. But desire doesn't operate like a job interview. It operates like a mystery novel. If she already knows the ending, she stops reading right now. If she's not interested, it's because she has placed you in a safe category, predictable, available, emotionally transparent. There's no risk, no edge, no unknown. And desire feeds on the unknown. I'm not telling you to play games. I'm telling you to stop playing the game you've been losing. The first shift you must make is internal. If you secretly need her approval, she will feel it. Women are extremely sensitive to emotional dependency. The moment she senses that you're trying to win her, she subconsciously relaxes. The tension dissolves. You've already surrendered the power dynamic. Desire grows when she feels like she might not fully have you. That doesn't mean being cold. It means being centered. When you walk into a room, your energy should say, I enjoy you, not I need you. Those two energies feel completely different. One is attractive, the other is heavy. If she isn't interested, pull back your emotional investment immediately. Not dramatically, not angrily, calmly. Stop overexting. Stop explaining yourself. Stop seeking reassurance. Instead, invest in yourself with visible momentum. Women don't respond to potential. They respond to movement. When she sees you evolving socially, physically, financially, emotionally, without trying to impress her, her brain registers something important. You are not orbiting her. Scarcity is not about disappearing. It's about redirecting focus. And here's what happens psychologically when you withdraw the constant validation she expected from you. Her mind begins to fill the silence. Why did he change? What is he doing? Did I misjudge him? Curiosity is the first spark of desire. You don't beg for attention. You become worthy of attention, and then you stop handing it out freely. Most men try to increase attraction by increasing effort. The truth is, attraction increases when you increase value and decrease availability. You must become emotionally self-sufficient. That means your mood, your confidence, and your direction in life cannot depend on her responses. When she senses that your world continues smoothly with or without her, she begins to reassess you. Desire is born in reassessment. If she thinks she already understands you completely, there's no excitement. But when she realizes there's depth she hasn't explored, layers she haven't accessed, strength she didn't notice, her perception shifts. And attraction always begins with a shift in perception. So if she's not interested today, don't panic, don't chase, don't argue your case. Become the man she has to reevaluate. Because the moment she questions her initial judgment of you is the moment desire starts breathing. Let me tell you what most men get wrong about female psychology. You think attraction is about logic, about traits, about checking boxes. But attraction for a woman is emotional contrast. It's how she feels around you compared to how she feels around other men. If she's not interested, it's because being around you feels neutral is the enemy. A woman can feel annoyed and still think about you. She can feel challenged and still crave you. But if she feels nothing intense, no emotional spike, no intrigue, you disappear into the background. So the question is not, how do I make her like me? The real question is, how do I make her feel something different? Here's the truth you were never told. Women are drawn to emotional leadership, not control, not dominance in a toxic sense. Emotional steadiness, direction, certainty. If you hesitate when you speak, if you constantly adjust your personality to match hers, if you agree with everything she says just to avoid friction, she unconsciously categorizes you as safe but uninspiring. And safe without tension kills desire. You must stop trying to be chosen and start behaving like you are already choosing. When you speak to her, slow down, hold eye contact a second longer than feels comfortable. Don't rush to fill silence. Silence creates pressure, and pressure creates awareness. If she says something playful, don't overlaugh. If she teases you, tease her back lightly. Show her you are not intimidated. Women test emotional strength unconsciously, not to reject you, but to measure you. If you crumble under small tests, she assumes you'll crumble under real pressure. Emotional stability is seductive. Here's another layer. Unpredictability, not chaos, not mood swings, controlled unpredictability. If you always text back instantly, occasionally delay. If you always initiate, let space happen. If you always compliment her, stop for a while. The absence of expected behavior creates mental replay. When she starts wondering why you didn't respond the same way, she starts thinking about you more than before. Attention shifts when patterns break. But this only works if you're genuinely busy building something real in your life. Women can sense fake detachment. If you withdraw, but your energy feels bitter or passive-aggressive, attraction drops further. Your withdrawal must feel calm, grounded, unbothered. Here's the psychological shift that changes everything. Instead of trying to convince her you're valuable, act as if your time is valuable. End conversations first. Sometimes, not abruptly, smoothly. I've got to run. But this was interesting. That sentence alone signals scarcity. Scarcity triggers evaluation. When you are constantly available, she doesn't need to evaluate you. When access feels limited, her brain assigns higher value and never overshare too quickly. Mystery isn't about hiding secrets. It's about pacing depth. If she learns everything about you in 2 conversations, there's nothing left to uncover. Layer yourself slowly. Let her discover you. When she senses that you're emotionally composed, socially respected, and not easily impressed, she subconsciously upgrades your status. And status matters in attraction far more than men admit. If she initially placed you in the friend category, it's because you behaved like someone seeking approval. To shift categories, your behavior must shift first. Stand straighter, speak slower, disagree occasionally without aggression. Maintain your plans even if she's free. When she realizes you won't bend your entire schedule around her, something changes inside her. Respect deepens and desire often follows respect. You are not trying to manipulate her feelings. You are recalibrating how you present yourself because the version of you she wasn't interested in was a version seeking validation. The version she could desire is the one who doesn't need it. Now, I'm going to tell you the part most men avoid because it requires discipline. You cannot manufacture desire in her if you are not building desire within yourself. If your life feels small, if your routine feels repetitive, if your energy feels stagnant, she will feel that before you even speak. Women are highly attuned to emotional vibration, not your words, your state. When a woman says she's not feeling it, what she often means is this: she doesn't feel expansion around you. Desire grows where there is expansion. Think about it. When she's around a man who is growing, physically stronger, socially sharper, financially focused, emotionally mature, she feels proximity to movement. Movement creates anticipation. Anticipation creates attraction. If your world revolves around her attention, she feels pressure. If your world is moving forward, regardless of her presence, she feels curiosity. So here's the deeper truth. The fastest way to make a woman desire you is to make your life desirable. That means leveling up in ways that are visible but not performative. Get in better shape, not to impress her, but because discipline transforms your posture, your walk, your eye contact. Improve your style, not flashy, just intentional. Develop skills. Build social proof. When other people respect you, she notices. Women are sensitive to social cues. If she sees others value you, friends, colleagues, even strangers, her perception shifts without you saying a word. Perception shift is everything. Now, let's go deeper into emotional psychology. Women crave emotional stimulation, not emotional suffocation. If you constantly ask where you stand, how she feels, what this is becoming, you pull her into analysis mode. Analysis kills chemistry. Instead, create experiences, invite her somewhere interesting, lead the plan. Don't ask, what do you want to do? Say, join me Thursday. I think you'll enjoy this. Leadership signals, confidence. But here's the key. If she declines, don't chase. Smile. No worries. Another time, then move on. That reaction alone communicates strength. When a man handles rejection lightly without wounded pride, it unsettles her expectations. She expects you to push harder or withdraw dramatically. When you do neither, you create intrigue. Intrigue reopens doors. Also, understand this. Attraction often grows in absence. If she sees you every day, texts you constantly, and knows you're always available, there's no space for imagination. Imagination is fuel. Pull back just enough for her to feel your absence, but not enough to feel punishment. There's a difference. Punishment feels bitter. Space feels powerful. During that space, elevate yourself. Post less. But when you do, let it reflect momentum, a new project, a social event, a fitness milestone. Quiet growth speaks loudly. She must begin to associate you with upward movement. And never ever complain about her lack of interest. The moment you argue with her feelings, you confirm low value. High value energy accepts reality and adjusts. Here's something most men misunderstand. Women are attracted to how you make them feel about themselves. If being around you makes her feel chosen, but not pressured, challenged, but not criticized, admired, but not pedestalized, she experiences emotional polarity. Polarity ignites chemistry. Don't worship her. Appreciate her selectively. Compliment specifics, not everything. You handled that situation well. That's stronger than you're amazing. Specific praise feels earned. And when she earns something, she invests more. Investment creates attachment. If she's not interested right now, it doesn't mean she never will be. Attraction is fluid. It shifts with perception, context, timing, and your behavior. But if you remain the same version of yourself, the one seeking approval, nothing changes. The transformation must start within you because the man she ignores and the man she desires often have the same face, but completely different energy. There's something dangerous about wanting a woman who isn't interested in you. If you're not careful, you start performing. You become funnier than you actually are, nicer than you naturally feel, more available than your schedule allows. You shrink parts of yourself just to avoid losing the little access you have, and she feels that performance. Women are extremely sensitive to authenticity. The moment your words don't match your internal state, attraction weakens, not because she consciously analyzes it, but because something feels off. So if you truly want her to desire you, you must be willing to lose her. Read that again. The energy of I'm okay without you is magnetic. The energy of please choose me is suffocating. Detachment is not indifference, it's emotional self-control. When you detach from the outcome, your behavior becomes natural again. You stop overthinking every text. You stop rereading conversations. You stop calculating the perfect response, and that relaxed presence shifts everything. Have you noticed how you're most attractive when you're not trying? That's because your nervous system is calm. You're not in scarcity. You're not seeking validation. You're simply existing grounded. Grounded men create safety. And paradoxically, safety combined with edge creates desire. Here's the edge. Stop explaining yourself excessively. If you're busy, say you're busy. Don't apologize 5 times. If you disagree, state it calmly. Don't soften every opinion to protect her reaction. Women respect men who can hold their frame. Holding your frame means you don't emotionally collapse when she challenges you. If she says you're different lately, smile slightly. Different how? Let her explain. Don't rush to defend. Calm curiosity is power. When she senses that you are emotionally solid, that her mood swings, teasing, or distance don't shake you, she begins to feel something she may not even label correctly. Stability. And stability is deeply attractive because it signals strength under pressure. Now let's talk about attention. Attention is currency. Most men overspend it. You don't need to react to every story she posts. You don't need to comment on every update. When you reduce unnecessary attention, your attention becomes meaningful again. If she's used to you always watching, always responding, and suddenly you're selective, she notices. Not because you're playing games, but because your focus has standards now. Standards create tension, and tension is the birthplace of desire. Another shift. Stop trying to escalate emotionally before there's emotional investment from her side. If she's lukewarm and you start talking about deep connection, future plans, or intense feelings, she retreats. Match her level, then slightly lead it. If she's playful, be playful with a hint of depth. If she's distant, be warm but not chasing. If she invests, reward it. Reciprocity builds attraction. Overinvestment kills it. And never forget this. Women desire men who are desired by life. When she sees that your time is limited because you're pursuing purpose, friendships, fitness, business, growth, she doesn't feel like your only source of excitement. She feels like an addition to something already full. People value what adds to fullness, not what fills emptiness. If you approach her from emptiness, she feels pressure to complete you. That's heavy. But if you approach her from wholeness, she feels invited, not obligated. Invitation is seductive. Obligation is not. So shift your posture internally. You are not auditioning, you are observing too. Does she align with your values? Does she invest back? Does she bring peace or chaos? When she senses that you are evaluating her as well, the dynamic changes. You're no longer below her seeking approval. You're equal, maybe even slightly out of reach. And when a woman feels she might have to rise slightly to meet you, desire quietly begins to grow. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. Most men don't want to hear. You cannot force desire, but you can become the kind of man who awakens it. There's a difference. If she's not interested right now, accept it without resistance. Acceptance is powerful. Resistance is needy. The moment you stop fighting reality, you regain control of yourself, and control of yourself is the only control you ever truly have. Desire is emotional. It's instinctive. It's not negotiated through logic or effort. You don't convince a woman to want you. You create conditions where wanting you feels natural to her. And those conditions begin with how you see yourself. If deep down you believe she is out of your league, your behavior will reflect that belief. Your tone will soften. Your posture will shrink. Your humor will become approval-seeking, and she will unconsciously feel elevated above you. Attraction rarely flows downward, but when you genuinely view yourself as a prize, not arrogantly but calmly, something shifts. You stop overgiving. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop chasing mixed signals. You start responding instead of reacting. That shift alone can flip dynamics. Here's something critical. Sometimes the woman who isn't interested in you is reacting to the version of you that existed when she met you. If you are overly available, overly eager, overly impressed, that first imprint matters. But impressions can change when she sees consistency in your growth, not for a week, not for attention, but as a lifestyle. Her brain begins to update its file on you. Maybe I misjudged him. He feels different now. There's something about him lately that something is emotional polarity. You are calm but not passive, interested but not dependent, present but not predictable. Predictability without depth is boring. Chaos without stability is exhausting. The sweet spot is controlled intensity. Speak with intention. Touch lightly but confidently when appropriate. Maintain eye contact when she looks away first. Smile slowly, not nervously. These micro signals communicate internal certainty. Certainty is attractive because it feels rare. And here's the final layer. You must be willing to walk away, not as a tactic, not as a threat, as a standard. If she continues to show no investment, no curiosity, no reciprocity, you don't beg for crumbs. You redirect your energy to someone who responds. Ironically, that willingness to walk away is often what creates the spark, because the moment she senses she might actually lose access to you, not your attention, but your presence, her emotions can activate. Humans value what feels scarce and meaningful. But even if she never turns around, you win. Because the version of you who becomes centered, disciplined, emotionally grounded, socially active, and purpose-driven doesn't just attract one woman. He attracts options, and options remove desperation. Remember this, the goal isn't to make her obsessed with you. The goal is to become so aligned with your own growth that the right woman naturally feels drawn in. Desire is not chased. It is triggered by contrast, confidence, and controlled distance. So let me ask you something personal right now. Are you operating from need or from value? Be honest. Comment below with one word, need or value, and tell me what you're changing starting today. If this opened your eyes, like the video, subscribe, and share it with a brother who needs to hear this. Because sometimes the difference between being ignored and being desired is the courage to become a different